Hello everyone, I am Erika of Beadingschool.com and you are watching Extra Coffee Time with Erika because we are celebrating Beading School's third birthday. And today is Beading School History Day. And my friend Chloe of PinkHot Jewelry is joining me shortly on screen. And today she's going to ask me questions about Beading School and its history, and I'm going to answer them all. Or I will do my best at least, of course. So please first let me know if you can hear me and see me, and then I will invite Chloe to join me when I know that all the technical stuff is all right. I see Helena. She says, good afternoon to all the wonderful beaders. Then I see Rachel and Catherine and Antoinette and Sherry and Sarah and Katja and Kateri and Sinya says that she can hear me and see me. So now I am calm. And Shelley, Asta, Laura, Linda, Barbara, and Lita are also here. So lovely ladies, I hope that everyone is ready with a nice cup of tea, a nice cup of coffee, with some beading on your with a jewel to work on your bead mats. And Chloe, I'm really looking forward to having you. Hi, Chloe.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for actually the idea. This was your idea first.
I'd forgotten about it. We were chatting, weren't we, when we were away together, and we were discussing that. No, I'm happy to be here. It's great to be able to have a little nosy into your history and dig out lots of exciting information.
And indeed, when we are talking, then so many ideas come up, and I wish we had even more time to make them happen. And lovely beaders, before we would start, then I would like to introduce you Chloe from PinkHot Jewelry. If you don't know her yet, she is from the United Kingdom, and she's a good friend, a fellow designer, making super cute, elegant jewelry in colors that make you happy anytime when you look at the jewels. And Chloe, where can we see your work?
Oh, thank you. So I have my website, which is pinkhot.co.uk, and I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube as well. So you can pop over and see some of my work there. I've just been reading about dopamine dressing, and I read something that somebody put on Instagram saying, I was this years old when I realized that the reason I liked pink is because it makes me happy. And it's so true for me. Just the colors I've always enjoyed beading with pink, and I think it does something to my brain. So there you go. That's my little snippet for today.
That's a really interesting piece of information. And I am very lucky that we actually got to meet not once, but twice during the past year. First at the big British bead show organized by the Beadworkers Guild.
That was nearly a year ago. Can you believe that?
At the beginning of May, indeed. That was the first time.
Yes.
And then, together with Kata, and together with Anna, and together with Frauke, we were picking mushrooms in the Swedish woods. Did you manage to cook all the mushrooms already?
I've got a small bit of the dried left. I thought I had one bag of frozen left, and I went to find them the other day, and I must have used them. So I've got a few dried ones left. I love trying to explain to people what we did, that we went to Sweden to pick mushrooms and play with beads, and people are like, what?
It was an amazing time, and I'm really happy that we could share it together.
Me too.
Anna invited us, and together with Kata and Frog, it was amazing. And pink is actually something that connects us because your color is pink, and it's really representing the cheerfulness that is like radiating not only from your jewels, but that's what I feel when we are talking on when we have the luck to meet. And pink is also a bright pink is also part of the Beadingschool colors. We have the Beadingschool mandala. Okay, the colors are a bit dull now. This is an older coffee cup. But we also have yellow for positivity, turquoise in a big quantity everywhere for creativity, and pink for compassion.
I love that. I love that. And I never realized till today that that was your, like, why you chose those colors as well. That's really awesome.
Yeah, those are like the values that we stand for. So, and they look great together, I think.
You managed to get them all in your top as well. Very good.
So the idea today was that you are going to pick my brain about Beadingschool history.
I am. Are you ready to get started?
I had two double espressos today. That's just my normal level. I have a nice bead embroidered piece on my bead mat that I was working on, so I have at the same time the energy of the coffee and the feeling of zen from beading, so I'm all yours.
You're ready to go. Excellent. Cool. So I think to kick things off, I want to know when beads first came into your life. Was it from a young child or is it later on in life?
Mm-hmm. Well, at first, thank you for the question, Chloe. During the first 20 years, they came and went away. I didn't have that many beads when I was a kid. They were just not available back then. I grew up in Eastern Europe. And that's actually so weird because that time it was Czechoslovakia. I'm from Slovakia. The beads are made in the Czech Republic, but somehow they didn't make it to my part of the world. And I had a tiny bit, I remember like a handful of super tiny beads, even smaller than the size 15s. And I kept like making little groups of the brown ones, the red ones, the white ones. I still like can imagine how they looked like. Then that was such a treasure, but it was just not even enough for like lots of playing. And then of course later, I think, did you also have the phase of your teenage years when you made like crocodiles and mice and
No, see, I didn't. We used to make armfuls of bracelets, but I went on the French exchange and my French exchange partner helped me make beaded fish. And was it with the fishing line that you made them?
yes, fishing line or wire
Make it to the UK, but we did. Yeah, I remember coming on the French exchange. So you made mice and things.
Yeah, crocodiles, mice, and like other little creatures. They were supposed to go on your like keys, but actually they were not sturdy enough for that. So, but for a while, every one of us were making them. So that was like beading, but not beading how now we are beading. And then like adult grown-up beads came into my life when I was at the last year of university, and I was super stressed. Like I was double majoring. I studied linguistics and linguistics and Hungarian literature together. That was one of my specialization, and then the other one was aesthetics, so the history and philosophy of arts. And it was a lot. So I needed something to just sit down in the evening, not think about anything else, and just playing. So that's when beads resurfaced in my life again.
And how did you find things on the internet or in magazines, or how did you first start with the beading?
First, I had some magazines, like not the English ones, but some little booklets. And I was buying. Also, I think many of us have this phase in our lives when we went for the cheap beads that were like easily available. So I had like kilograms of very uneven, very low quality beads in colors that you would not wear because they are not elegant, they are not sophisticated, they don't go together if you are not like 3 years old. And yeah, at first I nearly gave up because I was enthusiastic. I was like beading a lot. But everything ended up being ugly
Oh
and
no.
uneven. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And actually, I did some research on the internet, and then I discovered that other types of bead exists and crystals, and it was an eye opener. And actually, Adam convinced me that during a school break, we went to Budapest for a day, and there was a beautiful, very inspiring place, a bead shop run by a friend. Well, we became friends later. Her name is also Erika, and that's where I learned a lot. Kata knows the place. Joint Box, it doesn't exist unfortunately anymore, but like we were online every day. It's kind of a little bit like an inspiration for the Beadingschool club because everyone would like come online every day. You would post what you created, you would ask questions, and I loved it so much. So later I was very happy when I managed to start building up our own community.
Your own community. Oh, how lovely. It's sort of like the seed of an idea that went back so far.
Yeah, and Erika, like Mate, her name is Erika Mate, and she was such an inspiration. She actually helped me a lot when I started to build up my first business. Like she shared her contacts and like she taught us how to properly do it. And later she's also a traveler, so like she
Oh,
also got me into traveling.
it's amazing when you meet people along the way who are generous and happy to share. And Kata says that it was her first bead shop that she went to too as well.
Yeah, it was really an amazing place.
Oh, that's fabulous. So, like, fast forward a bit, you finished university and you had another bead shop, I'm right in saying, before beading school. Do you
Yes,
want to talk a little bit about that one?
happily,
Yeah, tell
happily.
us a bit about your bead shop because you were quite young when you opened that, like
Yes,
21 or 22, am I right in saying?
23,
23.
23.
Still pretty inspiring.
So, well, it was kind of scary, but kind of like also like so much in my heart that I ignored all the fear and all the lack of knowledge and experience. And there is no one in my family who would be an entrepreneur of any kind. So yeah, it was interesting. But also, it was a turn of events. Like I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a writer. That's actually why I went to study literature and arts. And then later, like I was lazy to write. I was I okay. I was good. I was publishing in literary newspapers and won some like student awards, but I got lazy and I still regret it a bit. So I abandoned that dream, and then the travel bug started to bite, and we actually planned with Adam to, after university, like, okay, let's go somewhere. So we had this plan of we will graduate, we will move to Malta, We have never been to Malta before, but it's warm. They speak English. It's an island. We imagine that it will be beautiful. So we had this dream set plan. It was a plan. Okay, we graduate, we go to Malta. And then actually, I had a friend back then in Slovakia. Her name is Zsuzsanna Szilágyi. And she also used to go to the same beach shop in Hungary. And we met like maybe once or twice. And then she said, like, let's open a beach shop together. And I said, yes. Okay. So that's how it started. We were together running the beach shop for 2 years. Then, and we were at a very different stage of our lives. I was 22, very like, yay, energetic, going into it. She was a bit older with young kids in a different pace, different phase of her life. So then after 2 years, we decided that we will continue on separate journeys. And yeah, then I took over her part, and for 4 more years I had the beach shop in Slovakia. It still exists. I actually posted a picture today. Susie helped me to unearth that picture that I took so many years ago. It's like a cute little house in the center of Bratislava, and actually, that's where I met Ludmila, Ludka, for example, Zuzi, of course, Barbara. So there are still being friends in my life from that time.
It's been a big stepping stone in kind of where beads really became a big part of your life, and then so moving forward, then some of your followers, and probably quite a few of them, will remember you, which is when I first became aware of you, as the storytelling jeweler, and that was really where you combined your love of traveling and writing and beads all together. So you were kind of a designer, a writer. You were doing a lot of blogging, and you were doing really creative stuff that I hadn't seen anyone else doing before. It's sort of the kind of content marketing, bringing the two together and telling stories, but sharing your love of beads at the same time. And so how long were you running that for? That's when you first really, that was kind of the real beginnings of Beadingschool as we know it now, wasn't it?
Yes. The storytelling jeweler I already kind of take as part of Beadingschool. So actually I started when I moved to Amsterdam. So I know it very well that it's 8.5 years ago in October, November. And after running the beach shop in Slovakia, I loved it. I learned so much. I got to meet so many great people, and it was a good place. But we moved in the meanwhile to the Czech Republic. I was traveling back and forth between Prague and between Bratislava. I couldn't really settle down in Prague because with one foot I was still in Slovakia. And you can guess I got like a huge burnout. And that's actually part of the reason why the beach shop is not mine anymore. It has super cute new owners since then. But for me, it was time to change.
Yeah.
And for maybe 1 or 2 months, I thought like, okay, my beading career is over. Beading will always stay with me. I love it, but I need distance.
Mm-hmm.
And after a month or 2, in the meanwhile, we moved. Since I didn't have the shop anymore, then I was like free to move wherever I wanted to. And Adam used to work in the past for a Dutch company back in Slovakia. So actually they saw the advantage of having someone in Amsterdam who knows the Slovak team, knows the language, but is on site in the headquarters in Amsterdam. So that's how we ended up in Amsterdam. And then I couldn't say goodbye to beads, but I started to do lots of stuff. Like I was a tour guide. I didn't, at first I was like finding my way. Do I want to teach? Do I want to like go more towards finished jewelry? So there was lots of experimenting.
But I love I think other people will agree with me when I say this, that I think your bravery and your willingness to just give things a go. And I mean, you said it to me earlier offline, like you just have to try these things sometimes and the universe will look after you. And I think you've really been a proof of that, that you've just taken chances, but gone with your passion and your self-belief in yourself and being able to make it happen. And I think you should be very proud of everything that you've kind of overcome and kind of got to this point now where you've built this business, you're employing a whole team of dedicated people, and yeah, you should be ever so proud. And I know that you are, so I'm glad of that. But sometimes you need to hear someone else say that.
Thank you so much for your words, Chloe. And yes, I am super proud. Like the team is amazing. Like there is about like 15 of us at the moment. And what I absolutely love is like everyone is so dedicated and enthusiastic. And when I am visiting, because the team is in Slovakia, in my hometown, run by one of my best high school friends, Andrea. She's the big boss there. And every time when I'm visiting, it's just so incredibly lovely and kind and inspiring. Like, not just the working parts together, but like I go to the office in the morning, I go to the treasury in the morning, and then Timmy, she's also an ex high school friend. She's the one taking beautiful pictures for the beach shop with the red hair. You might have seen her on pictures, and she would just slip a cookie on my table like, I made this for you. Or like during the day, of course, I'm like having lots of meetings because I'm there only maybe like twice a year. And then she comes like, I made coffee for you. And
Oh,
Andrea like says like, yeah, don't be alone in your hotel room. We will cook for you today. That,
that's a great team, and you've built that. So you've made that culture, and in that, you know, they sound like a fabulous bunch, and
yeah.
that's fantastic. Have
And
you?
sorry. Just I wanted to say I'm proud of it, but the journey, it was super scary sometimes and bumpy.
Imagine. What's been, do you think, like your biggest challenge that you've overcome in that time? It's a difficult one, isn't it? There's
It's
always going to be little bumps, and it's good to know that, you know, everyone has them along the way.
everyone. There is no way. Like last year, I was reading actually a book in Mexico about how to build level up your craft business, how to like take it seriously yourself too. And then I was like laughing out loud because it was like, oh my god, they are talking about us, like so typical. So it's a bit like a joke for me now that I thought like, oh my god, we have this like huge obstacles to come over. Everyone has the same, and it's about us if we like keep thinking about solutions. But yeah, back to the problem. Like there were of course some practical ones like COVID, shipping problems. Once when, oh my God, and many of you will remember this, Kata will remember, Sarah will remember, many of you will remember this who are here with us today watching, that it was finally at a moment when like, oh my God, readers are loving what we are doing, like orders are coming in, like it's amazing. And then of course shipping got very problematic at the beginning of COVID. And that was horrible. In New York, like we had a container where we had lots of packages, and the container was we made so many phone calls, and then I got some background info that when it got all like problematic, then the container where all packages were was pushed to the back of the warehouse. So they need to get through all the other containers to get to ours. And it took like 3 months until our US beaders got their packages.
I remember all those massive delays, weren't they? When it went out, there was such a backlog, wasn't there? It was crazy. That's really frustrating.
Yeah. Or like recently we were flooded, the treasury. I didn't know. They solved it. Andrea told me on Monday, like, by the way, last week there was a flood, but don't worry, we solved it. Everything is all right.
And that's where you've empowered your team. And that we've had a lovely comment through on YouTube saying, Erika, you're really lucky to have such an amazing team with wonderful support. But the truth is told, you've made your own luck, and that your courage, empathy, and kindness return to you. And I think that's so true.
Thank you, Rachel.
It's just, you've built, that's great leadership. You've built that team and empowered them to be able to solve issues without you, which is great. I'm feeling emotional too now.
Like there were thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Chloe. So there were those very practical problems. Or like when we started Beading School Academy, and maybe like 2 weeks before the first team, we got to know that we are not getting one of the big packages of beads because FedEx didn't let us know that we have a package in their warehouse. So we didn't pay the import fee because we were not notified, and they destroyed it. We were like, we have 2 weeks. What do we know now? But we solve stuff. That's what we do. We always solve it.
I think beaders are good at that. We're practical minded. Like, even if we come from the artistic sort of side of it, like we're good at solving problems, because that's kind of what beading is, isn't it? It's figuring stuff out.
And like, besides those practical things, there was this pressure coming from the outside that we all had to overcome. And I remember the first question of this kind when I was 23 at the beginning. I was also like, besides starting to build up the bead shop in Bratislava, I also tried to sell my own jewelry. Like, I graduated, I didn't have any money. I had to like find every way of like somehow make it work. And I totally remember like the first raised eyebrow of someone like, and you think that this will ever give you a salary? It's like, yes. And you know inside that it will be good. But when you get the second, the third, the fourth, the 50th question, and not only from strangers.
Yeah, people who mean really well, who know you well. I've been there. Yeah, I can relate to that. It's tough because you do start to think, oh, maybe I do doubt myself, or you feel like other people don't believe in you. But it's such a niche thing that we do. It's very difficult for other people to understand. I remember going for job interviews, having run the Big Bead Show, years ago we had the one in the UK, thousands of people through the door, and I was going for job interviews, and they were like, sorry, the Big Bead Show. And I was like, oh yes, we had thousands of people through the door, and they couldn't compute. Like, it's so yeah, you got to believe in yourself. So what's been like your biggest achievement, your biggest success out of beading school, do you think? I think I know what it would be, but what is it for you?
The academy, maybe. Like, I love it.
That incredible community that you've kind of nurtured.
Yes, and I love our students, and like how we are creating together, that we are not left alone with a specific beading problem, a specific color combination, a specific shape that, okay, somehow I need to find a way to make it work. But like so many of us creatives, and I'm talking about like or beaders in the Beading School Club, friends, designers also like you who are creating either regularly or from time to time with the academy team boxes, that we all come together and we help each other and inspire each other, and it's great.
I love
It
that.
feels
I
good.
think that's what the beading world should be about. It's this sort of, coming together with a shared passion from all around the world. So yeah, that's a really good achievement, I think. So what is it about beading school that's different, do you think, from your perspective? What's different about beading school to what other bead stores are offering?
If you asked me 5 years ago, I would be super clear, because as you said, like when I started with the storytelling jeweler, then I did it differently. And it was more than beading, it was writing. It was also like the tour guiding was also kind of part of it, that I was telling stories to travelers who came to Amsterdam. And why I am not that clear on the answer now is because we are just going our way, and I'm not giving that much attention to other bead shops. I don't even take us as like a bead shop. Yes, we have a bead shop because all of us here, we need beads, but it's more, it's like a whole like universe. It's a word. And maybe, thank you, Chloe, for asking the question, because now I feel like I have an answer, that it's not a shop, it's a word. I get up with it in the morning. I use my coffee cup. I get a picture from Susie, how she went for a hike in the forest today wearing her Beading School t-shirt. I read what our leaders post in the club, that it's really, it's a lifestyle.
I love it. There you go. It's a new tagline. It's not just beads, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle being a
I
Beading
love that.
School beader.
We were talking earlier, you and I, but also I think that kind of leads on nicely to we were talking about what makes you guys special. And I do think one of those things, well, there's two. I'm going to go back actually to what I was going to say. Coffee time and no one has to bead alone. I think they are definitely something that make you guys special. How did they come about? Was it all off the back of lockdown, or did they happen before?
Coffee time with Erika came before lockdown. I started maybe January, February, once a week on Tuesdays. And one of the first ones was, I don't know if we called it already Coffee Time with Erika. One of the first ones was an interview with Adam, because I convinced him that to try beading. Actually, also other friend who was living with us that time, Poodle Master, Katarina. Some of our readers will remember her, because especially the poodle, because the poodle was running around and you could hear the footsteps all the time in the background. So she was living with us in this room. And one day I taught them a bit of beading, and then later I interviewed Adam about his first experience of beading, and that's when it somehow, Kata remembers, that's when it somehow started. And I remember, like, yeah, I made this like every week we will meet and do this, and it was super fun already. And then like COVID came, and I remember the shock of it, like, oh my God, still processing. We got stuck at home. Everyone was like, oh my God, everything is canceled. I'm alone. I'm at home. And I remember a Tuesday coffee time with Erika, and I said, like, okay, on Friday we will be together. And I didn't have a clue how to do that. I didn't have a design. I didn't have the software. I didn't have the technical stuff. On Tuesday, I said that on Friday we will be together. And it happened.
And you made it happen. And then now we have this weekend where you are creating patterns, and amazing. And so with your pattern writing, obviously you've been doing patterns probably since, when did they start? Like the storytelling jeweler time?
Before.
Before that. And so tell me a little bit about how you learned to create jewelry, why you jewelry tutorials, and why you kind of started writing tutorials.
Mhm. So the whole designing journey is a funny one. And I had the bead shop already when Adam once asked me, like, okay, but why are you always beading for from someone else's tutorials? Like, can't you make your own designs? And I was like, no, it's too hard. I can't. And for quite a long time, I didn't. And then I started to like modify stuff and play more and more. So somehow it came together, but I was not there yet. But a friend from Slovakia, Slavka is her name. She used to have, she just started a craft magazine, an online craft magazine. And she was a student in our bead shop. And my friend Zsuzsana was teaching a lot, and Zsuzsa Veres was teaching a lot. I was teaching only basic techniques like peyote bezels back then. And Slavka came and, Erika, I'm starting this magazine, and please make a tutorial for me for the next issue. And I was like, are you insane? I never made one. And she was like, I know that you can do it. So that's how one of the, until this day, the most popular pattern was born, the Passiflora pendant. Lots of beaders made it since then. And that's how it started. I said, like, okay, if you are sure.
Sometimes we need that kick from other people, don't we?
Yes,
Fabulous.
definitely.
So I've got one more question kind of about beading school. We were talking about like the things that make you unique. And when I think about beading school, even going back to like the beginning of storytelling jeweler, I think your designs are obviously very important. They're unique. You've got a definite style, but it's what you use in your designs. And you've always had an eye for hunting out little treasures and unusual components. And I'd say that was kind of a unique selling point for beading school. You know, you don't just have a regular fish hook, you've got a bejeweled one. So I'm guessing you can't really talk about your suppliers, but can you share with us like how you go about finding and sourcing these components? Do you happen to come across stuff, or do you have something in mind that you go out and get created? Like, how does that work?
Thanks for the great question, Chloe. So actually, that's also part of beading school, that it all started out from here, that I was doing everything basically. I was packing the packages, I was sending the packages, writing emails, everything. And it literally evolved from my own beading stash into more and more. I think everyone knows the feeling that you keep getting stuff and your stash is growing. The problem was that I was not happy with what the usual bead shops had. I wanted rhinestone chains in opal colors. I wanted suwon rhinestones in turquoise. I wanted big stones in my favorite colors, which were not available anywhere else, only from the manufacturers. So I had to like gradually like, okay, I will get some cup chain for myself, but actually I have to share it because it's
what do I do with all this cup chain? I can't keep it all.
Indeed. Or like, okay, I can order, I don't know, 50 pieces of Pacific Opal 27 millimeter cabochons, but I will never use them. I have to share it. So that's how it started. Literally, like I started to share my stash. And then it kept growing. And then I needed help, of course, with it. And also it outgrew the living room and the premises here. But I still see beading school as, that's also a unique thing, that it's kind of like a boutique bead shop that
It's curated, isn't it?
it's curated.
Yeah.
It's what I like. Of course, we have like basic stuff that we need to have in lots of colors, because even if I don't want to have opaque white bugle beads, then until we don't have them, then we will get always questions. Why don't you have white? So from the basic stuff, at least, I try to also now have the colors which I know that
A staple.
lots of
Yeah.
beaders find it nice, but I go for what I like, and then I'm sharing it. And it's because I know that if I love it, then if someone asks me like, okay, how do you pair this, how do you use this, then I will have an answer.
Yes.
Or I invite my friends who resonate with my style, and we will never leave anyone without an answer.
And we've had a question that says, what are the most important things you look for when you're selecting supplies?
Good quality. Like, for example, when we have the cup chain, or recently we started to have the rondelles from Preciosa, then many beaders don't know that Preciosa actually produces two different quality of silver colored findings. There is one which is cheaper, and there is one which is a lot more expensive. I think it's like twice the price, but it's durable.
Is it like the rhodium plated or something, like where it's more kind of bonded on, isn't it?
Rhodium, it's like silver plated, but like long lasting and not long lasting.
Yeah.
And there is a big price difference, but we go for the durable. So quality, it has to be good quality. We work so much, like even a tiny piece, it can take hours if we invest 2, 3, 5, 10 hours into a piece. We want to have it nice, and yeah.
I've definitely found that inspiring for me, because I've got a habit of just finishing stuff with any old earwire, and that's definitely given me pause for thought in the last year, I think, since seeing more of your work. No, that makes a lot of sense. So have you got any idea of things in like lines that you'd like to add, or do you tend to kind of come across unusual items and grab them when you can? Have you got like a game plan, or is it a bit of both?
I browse a lot. I spend lots of time like researching. We also travel regularly to the Czech Republic. Over the years, we managed to build up like really good relationships with many of our partners, manufacturers. So often it happens that they also approach us that, listen, we have this and this, do you want it? And then often I get a sample, I look at it. I have here boxes which I am not going to show because it's a mess, but I have lots of boxes here, like now neatly labeled by Timmy again, so we can like later identify that, okay, I can write them that, okay, Timmy, I liked sample number 25. Can I put it into a Beading School Academy box? Will we be able to source it for all our 500 students? And then she checks it, and then I make a decision. So yeah.
Fabulous. Well, that was really interesting actually to know. It's always good to see how people work, especially when you have a, like you say, a curated catalogue. So that was really interesting. I'd like to know. So it's your birthday this week. Happy birthday, Beading School! Very exciting. We talked a lot about the past of Beading School and how you've started. I know this is History Day. But I'd like to know what's moving forward. What's the big goal? What's your big dream for the business? Do you have a big dream, or are you just taking the ride and seeing where it's going?
it's funny because lots of things I knew that I want to make them happen one day. They existed in some notebooks and some old files for years. So, for example, I had notes about the program of Beadingschool Academy was kind of ready 5 years before we would open it. So there are lots of plans. One day I hope that we will have a Beadingschool magazine, for example.
Cool.
That I think would be super interesting, and we have so much talent in the Beadingschool Club, like incredible talent. And I think it would be great to have our own printed magazine or online magazine, maybe at first, to give an opportunity to our beaders to like see their names in print, because it feels amazing and you guys deserve it so much. You are so talented and inspiring.
I can see that. That sounds really interesting. So, birthday week, you've had your history day. What else have you got planned for this week? I know you've got a new collection that has been selling really well. What else have you got planned for this week?
Yeah, so actually for everyone, we have the event calendar at beadingschool.com, also on the blog, if you would like to check it for like really specific times and dates and everything. So we have now a tradition that every year with Beading School's birthday, I also put together a collection of beads and components, always in the colors of Beading School. So it's turquoise and yellow and a shade of pink or fuchsia. And it's the same this year. So this year's collection, I'm actually working with this glass button or like glass cabochon from the collection. It is inspired by the thought fly. And the thought behind it is that let's create as many moments in our lives when we feel like flying as possible, on our bead mats and beyond, when you just forget what's happening, when you are just happy and you feel that everything is possible. And yeah, you have like I was just writing a bit about it today in the morning, that when you have like this spring in your step and this sparkle in your eye, and you can share this with the community, that's when you feel like flying. So let's create lots of moments like that together.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. So what else have you got planned for this week? Have you got any other exciting activities? And I know you've got No One Has to Bead Alone on Friday.
Thursday,
it moved on.
In January we changed to Thursday.
I forgot, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I forget sometimes.
Today is Wednesday. I have no idea what day of the week it is this week, so I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, tomorrow we have a surprise No One Has to Bead Alone. So Zuzi, my friend and colleague, she designed a cute little motif for No One Has to Bead Alone in Beading School colors again. And we have the material list from her, but we don't know in advance what we are beading. So we'll unfold on our bead mats, everyone together at the same time, 5 p.m. Central European time tomorrow. And I think it will be super fun how we get to find out.
That is exciting. I love the idea of a surprise one.
And then on Saturday, we have an exclusive opportunity for Beading School Club members and Beading School Academy students to join a Zoom visit to the treasury. So Andrea and some of the team will be there, and they will show you around. Everyone actually has a designated space during birthday week in the treasury, so you can like place an order and not pay for shipping, and then we collect everything, and if possible we even send it with FedEx, so we can show you the place where the orders are collected, how we store everything, so that will be nice. And then
Very exciting, a little tour. Cool.
yes, and then we will have a day dedicated to the community and a day dedicated to friends designers, with more surprises coming up.
Fabulous. Oh, that all sounds wonderful. Lots to look forward to. Well, I hope you enjoy it all. Thank you for talking with me. Has anyone else got any last questions? Is there anything else? I've got one last question I can throw at you, but if we've got time. But if there's anyone else who's got any questions for Erika, speak now, and then we can delve in. While they're thinking about it, I'm going to ask you. I think we've talked a lot about your passions and what gets you out of bed each day. I think that's clear to see. But what would you say to 15-year-old Erika? What do you think she'd think about where you are now, and what advice would you give to her? It's a bit of a random one to throw in the end there.
Wow.
It's a big one, isn't it?
It's a big one. Also like, wow. 15-year-old Erika.
It's hard to think back to that, isn't it? I think, what did you envision yourself being when you were like 15? I don't know what I think I wanted to be a forensic scientist. So I don't think I could picture that I would be running a bead shop or a TV presenter, which I'm kind of doing in a weird kind of modern way.
Yes, you are.
You wanted to be a writer. Have you always wanted to be a writer, even back then, do you think?
I was writing back then already.
And now you are, but in a different way.
Yeah. For me, it doesn't matter that what is the material, but the creating, that's the important.
The artistic, creative side. And I think even your Facebook posts are creative. They're not just marketing posts. You always tell a story in all of your Facebook posts, and I love that. I think that's really special.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you feel it, because it's like it's always coming from here, and yeah,
That's the most important thing, isn't it? Is whatever you do, doing it from here. Oh, we've had a couple of questions. How long does it take from creating an Academy box idea to presenting it? That is a good question.
Yeah, and I will keep thinking about the 15-year-old thing, but wow, an Academy box. Well, I will go backwards from the moment that our bidders see it. So we need about like 1 week to like finalizing and to build up the virtual classroom. Before that, ideally, we need 5-6 weeks for our designers to work with the box. So that's already 6-7 weeks. We need a few weeks for the treasury team to process like big packages of components into small packages of components. Before that, we need 2, sometimes 3 months for like the purchasing department to order the material from the manufacturers and to wait for it until it's produced, because it takes time. So altogether 4 or 5 months. So for example, the next week I'm going to work on the September one, on the concept.
It's a long lead, isn't it? I think it's interesting to see all the paddling that's going on behind the scenes by you and your ladies. So
yeah, at least like usually 3 boxes are parallel running. One which we are enjoying together with beaders, then already another one is in our beading rooms, and the team is assembling another one. So yeah, and to make it even more comfortable, we would need to add one more month. Actually. Yeah, Yeah. Sometimes there are hiccups with manufacturing or with shipping, sometimes big hiccups. So that's also like, then we improvise and we solve. As always, we solve the situation. But yeah, it's nice to like have a more relaxed pace.
Max pace. Very cool.
Do we have any more questions there?
So we've got some lovely comments though. Angelina says it's such a pleasure watching us beading geniuses chatting. I started reading that and hadn't read the end of it. That's lovely.
Oh,
And as Matrak has said, just thank you for this wonderful community and the positivity you bring to our lives. It's worth more than gold.
thank you so much.
So hello.
Like, this is one of the best things that's happening in my life. Like, I'm so grateful for the community, for the team, for everything. Like, it makes me very humble and it makes me feel like flying.
Fantastic. Oh, it's so great to know you're living that dream and you know you're enjoying every day and making such a difference to so many people. I'm going to make you cry before the end of this interview. Thank you for talking so openly to us today and for inviting me to do this with you. It's been a real joy and a real privilege. So thank you.
Thank you for asking your questions, Chloe. I see one more if I can. Like, Terry is asking, like, where do your ideas come from for teams? Well, I just collect them everywhere. Like, whenever I see something inspiring, I read about something inspiring, I go to a museum and a thought catches my is like sticking in my brain, or I see a color combination which I like, everything goes into a sheet. And yeah, I think I have ideas collected, also suggested by the Beadingschool Club, that would be enough for 2 more years. So yeah, and beats are inspiring too.
That's true. Yeah, just the beads themselves sometimes, isn't it? That was a good question.
Oh, Brit Marie has such a nice one. She says, "You never feel alone when you are in this Beadingschool Club." Not a question, but like a beautiful note that I just had to mention.
And you've got a subliminal message for one of the upcoming themes, steampunk. I love that.
Thank you, Angelina. I would love to create a collection. There is a component that I would love to be part of it, and for that we need to ask Susie very nicely to help me with it, because she used to create handmade steampunk.
Oh wow!
And I need to convince her to create 500 of those. Then we can have the steampunk theme.
No pressure, Susie, at all there.
Oh.
And Terry says, "Oh yeah."
Thank you, Terry.
I need to turn mine over. I haven't turned it over today.
Oh yeah, it's May. On Monday, the next one, the next jewel is.
I haven't turned mine over. Oh, this is the one I've been waiting to make.
That's such a beautiful one. Vicky is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on my make list, definitely. Very cool.
Yeah, and then soon we are getting to summer and your jewel, Chloe.
I know that's going to come up before we know it, isn't it? How exciting. I came across that when I was tidying up the other day and I was like, right, I'm not putting that away yet. I need that still.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking about the 15-year-old question. And
maybe you'll wake up in the morning and you'll know.
Yeah, I would maybe just tell her that all will be well at the end. Just do what you like. Enjoy creating. Learn everything you can. Be kind to others and to yourself. And yeah.
I think that's good advice. I like that. you, Erika. This has been a real joy. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to tell your beaders?
I just want to thank everyone for today also, for like living this adventure together, all our beaders, friends designers, you, Chloe, or friends manufacturers like Stephen of Beadsmith.
Yeah. It's Eclipse glasses. Amazing.
Everyone who is involved, and it's beautiful, and it's a dream coming true, and a dream that we can live every day. So thank you, everyone, and also for the beautiful celebrations this week.
It's been a lot of fun to be a part of it.
Thank you, Chloe. I hope that we can meet again soon for something fun.
Yes, let's do it. We'll make a date.
Yeah, this was great, and it really felt like super easy, spontaneous, like hanging out with friends, and it was great.
I'm glad.
So see you everyone tomorrow for No One Has to Be Alone. And I managed to I have to show this. I managed to find a way. Yesterday we had trouble with the link, and we have the birthday collection. We still have boxes, and I managed to put the code and the information on the screen, and I'm so proud of it. And thank you so much, everyone, for loving it and adopting the boxes. And happy beading, everyone. Enjoy creating, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.